All right, guys. Welcome to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. I'm most Will, aka Black Spartan. Of course, the man to my left, your right. And what did you have? I wasn't looking at your screen. You dropped something. What did you have?
Well, we'll get to that when I introduce myself. The universe is correct when I have a brand new sword and you have a brand new son. So you know the universe works. It makes sounds.
Oh, together.
Oh, Muppet sword.
Oh, God. Together we are the Get Bit Podcast, much like the WWE old guys. We do try to watch our language, how sometimes words do fly at the same time. There may be things that might be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. And it's as Joe said, yes, I am a brand new father. Me and my fiance, just this past March, did welcome a bouncing baby boy into the world. So I'm running on caffeine and hope. But I'm not complaining. He's doing well, and I know Joe held it down for the podcast while I was gone. So, sir, thank you for that.
Just remember, sleep cannot be decided on a 3-sided dice roll.
Says you.
Look, I sleep with a 6-sided dice roll. I go, roll. How many is it?
I never tell them the odds, but yes, a lot has happened that we're going to try to catch up on. But quite lately, we have had like a multiplex of trailers come through. And I mean a lot. But one that came through from the DC side kind of gives us hope. Why does it give us hope? Well, because it's Blue Beetle. And if you have not seen the trailer, you're about to now, because it is one thing that it's unapologetic about, and I'm all for it. But Joe, anything you got to say before we play the trailer for Blue Beetle?
I believe the response was so good that James Gunn said more than likely we're going to see Blue Beetle in the future, which as part of his lineup.
Yeah.
Which does not surprise me considering we're getting a Booster Gold show.
That is true.
Because you just can't have one without the other, even though it is Jaime versus Ted. And finally, because Will wasn't there, I got to see Old Man Yells at Cloud as people were being either racist or complaining it wasn't Ted. As someone who cosplays as Ted, shut the hell up.
Yeah, the dark side of Twitter. But anyway, here's the trailer.
Who said anything about Twitter? This was Facebook.
Oh, wow. Zuckerberg's been asleep. Anyway, here's the trailer for Blue Beetle.
Excuse me, Mr. Reyes? You finished scraping the gum off that lounger or what?
Everything right now feels so out of reach.
You always land on your feet, bro. You're Jaime.
They don't get out much.
I just want to rock.
Jenny?
Guard that with your life, but do not open it.
You went in to get us jobs, and all you brought back was a hamburger?
Okay, I don't think it's a burger.
You haven't looked?
What the hell is that?
How did you get it to do that?
I think he likes me.
It's on your back! Get it off! Get it off! Jaime.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. What the?
Host acquired.
Who said that? Okay, it's gonna be okay! Oh, that's space.
Re-entry systems ready.
Wait, no!
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
What is going on?
I just want to rock.
It's called the Scarab. It's some kind of world-destroying weapon. It's designed to protect its host.
This ain't what you want.
Sometimes it does what you want, and sometimes it doesn't.
Body out of here.
I think I cut a bus in half.
The Scarab chose you, but it belongs to me.
The low you feel for your family makes you weak. I just want to rock. won't kill my thoughts. Stand on my money, don't lose my side.
The universe has sent you a gift, and you have to figure out what you're going to do with it.
That's my heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, go up to 5.
Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Let's party.
Yeah!
Nice choice.
I just want to rap.
Whoa. It's like Batman stuff. Batman's a fascist.
I just want to rap.
That's the trailer for DC's Blue Beetle. As you can see, it comes out August 18th, so it is coming out this summer. Oh, Batman's a fascist. That was funny. Joe, I can see why James Gunn is very, very high on this trailer. Because, well, number one, it is unapologetically Latino, and I am for it.
Mm-hmm.
I am definitely for it because it does speak to not only the character Jaime, it also speaks to the fact they are writing to his heritage, how his family, the whole entire dynamic enters into it with George Lopez, of course, being the comedy relief. I was confused. I was trying to think because the woman who I'm thinking is the villain is either Ted Kord's wife or his sister.
No, I think the sister is the one in the white suit.
Okay, so it's got to be his wife.
I don't know who the other one is. We do know that this is a world where the previous Blue Beetles were there because we do see at the very end of the trailer in Ted's lab, we do see both Dan Garrett's costume and Ted Kord's. We do see the Bug.
Yep.
The only thing I'm very fearful of in this movie, and I know it's going to be a central focus of the movie, is the family. But I'm worried they're going to go overboard on the slapstick-centric style of the family trying to constantly help. Like, I am very happy that they are going to be involving the family because the family was very important in the book. But I also don't want to see Abuela taking down 80 guys with a giant laser rifle.
I can understand that. But then again, for all those that don't know, Graduation Day, again, you should be reading that.
Good book. 2 New Beetles.
Should be reading that. If you haven't read Graduation Day, that's the current run of Blue Beetle. Highly recommend that you should. I don't know, because I do see what you're saying if they go overboard with it, because I just got through watching Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and
Look, Darla made the right choice in saving those kittens over the people.
I thought you were going to say skill save the world, but I thought you were going to go that route. I don't know, because it's just, I think Blue Beetle will do well just because it's different and it looks and a lot of care, especially into the suit.
Yes, because the suit's practical, and the only thing that's being enhanced is the weaponry being digitized onto it.
Exactly. And again, shout out to the Final Fantasy VII reference at the end, by the way.
Oh, I mean, this is just like, how did I put this? This is a family-friendly version of the Guyver.
Yeah. It really is. If you have not seen Guyver 2 Dark Hero, it really is. But again, I got no issues with it. I know I'm watching it. Hopefully my son will be to the point to where I can either I can trust him to be with a babysitter, or I'll bring him with me, one of the two, by August the 18th. But yeah.
Just put him in a little scarab costume and tell everybody he's Kajida.
Don't tempt me with that.
You have no idea how many baby cosplay ideas I have.
No, trust me, I've got a few I want to put him in, but I have to
just wait till I tell him he needs to be baby Beast Boy, and you need to be Robot Man.
Oh no, she won't. Yeah, she ain't going for that. But I can barely get her past Harry Potter. That's a whole other story. But anyway, with Blue Beetle coming out, of course, August the 18th. Like I said, we've had a multitude of trailers come out, not only from DC but also from Marvel, as Marvel did give us Samuel L. Jackson's next chapter in his MCU as Nick Fury. This is actually the trailer for Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion.
years, you've been avoiding Earth. But I have called for your help plenty of other times, and you've been pretty content to let those calls go straight to voicemail.
Yeah, well, this is different. How much do you know about your security detail?
What do you mean, how much do I know about him?
Fury, we're gonna be very careful now.
You're in no shape for this fight that lies before us.
This is just the beginning.
This is my war alone. And I'm the last person standing between them and what they really want. And what is that?
Okay, so as you can see, guys, that is Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion. Didn't say when it'll be streaming. We know it will be this year. But I do got to ask this question just because, yes, this is where I'm surprised that, number one, that this is going to be a television series. Number two, I guess it does answer the question of where Nick Fury has been this entire time, considering the fact that last time we saw him was literally on a ship with nothing but Skrulls. Which only leads to now, are we actually doing the Secret Invasion story from the comic book run? Will there be differences? Because I have a question about one thing. But, Joe, I just want to get your opinions on what we saw in the trailer so far.
So I know it's coming out June 21st because I think that's Shadow's birthday. We're close to it. I'm kind of confused why we're getting this at this point because time frame wise, this takes place during the blip. Why is this not a movie? And why is this not establishing a new phase for the Kree Skrull War that the Avengers can fight on? Why are we doing secret? I mean, I don't mind it. I'm happy to watch it. But
my thing is, I think they're going to tell a very short story in the Matter series. They're going to try to shorten the Secret Invasion story in a matter of a miniseries.
Well, I mean, they're missing very pivotal parts of Secret Invasion.
Yeah, which
they're
I think
missing the superheroes finding the sleeper agents in the Savage Land. The out they could have had with Hank Pym. Well, that was in the comic book because that was one of the. They could have said that the Skrull that hit Hank that hit Janet in the comics was the Skrull, and they took gotten out of that easily. They didn't do that.
But let's not also forget Reed Richards actually developing the technology to determine who's a Skrull and who's not.
See, I think that's what the eye patch is for because Nick Fury doesn't have the eye patch in a lot in this trailer. And then at the end he does. So I'm guessing that's an overlay on his eye that lets him tell who it is and is not a Skrull. I guarantee you that's why he brings back the eye patch.
More than likely. But I'm going to be curious how they do it because like you said, it really, if it's going to be a television series, we know how most Marvel series are. They usually run anywhere from 8 to maybe 12, 13 episodes. The only
yeah, save for Daredevil, which is getting 18, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, Daredevil is getting pretty much the full slate.
3 6-arc episode or 3 6-part arcs.
That would be. I mean, that's one way to do it. Yeah, but that's what I'm curious about because it works out great because they're giving very little detail about it. But because for all of us, like Joe and myself, and maybe others out there who have read Secret Invasion, you know that that type of storytelling, that's almost that's almost Hobbit level storytelling.
Yeah, we're
because
missing too many key players is the biggest issue on my end. Like, the whole point of Secret Invasion was so Norman Osborn can get into the good graces of the public eye and take control of S.H.I.E.L.D., form Hammer, and form the Cabal, which is the antithesis of the Illuminati. Like, that was the whole point of Secret Invasion, was really to put Norman on a grander stage.
Yeah, which it was. But I'll be curious to see what they do. It's just that, like I said, maybe not giving a lot of information actually works out better as we get closer to when it does show on Disney Plus. But other news, I'm not sure how I feel about this, Joe, and I want to bring this up with you because you were there during the time when before we had a video game adaptation like The Last of Us, there was Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, failed video game adaptations that didn't do well, especially the Street Fighter that's so bad, but we still watch it because of Raul Julia giving us M. Bison and giving us one of the greatest lines of video game movie adaptations history. Well,
what are you talking about? The best line of that whole movie is Zangief going, "Quick, change the channel."
Oh no! To me, it'll always be that half speech he gave to Ming-Na Wen as Chung Lai. For you, it was the greatest day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday. Shit, rest in peace, Raw Julia, because there will never be another M. Bison like you. But anyway, what I'm getting to, guys, is that Legendary Entertainment has acquired the Street Fighter movie and TV rights, which means that they are developing, supposedly, and again, this is right now allegedly. This is all allegedly. Nothing has been said. Only the fact that Legendary Entertainment has acquired the movie and TV rights, which means that either A, we're going to be seeing a live-action Street Fighter movie down the road, or a television series, or both. But, like I said, everybody remembers the 1994 release with Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, movies that were so bad, but yet that is all we had back in 1994. Of course, with Street Fighter, like me and Joe, we're both waiting for the video game Street Fighter 6, which will debut in June of this year, if you haven't already pre-ordered it. But Joe, just your opinions on this, because like I said, our history with video game adaptations outside of The Last of Us have not done well. Do we think this is probably another one and done situation or a dud just waiting to happen?
Well, let me phrase it this way. Video game adaptations going to theaters have been hit and miss. Video game adaptations that have gone straight to DVD, we still have the best Street Fighter movie in Assassin's Fist.
True.
Like, hands down, that is like the best one. The fact that those two are so hyped to get a copy of Mega Man 2 still tickles me. And the best line in that movie is, "All right, Sensei, but still, seriously, who the hell's Dan?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Street Fighter license has gone through some things. We've had Street Fighter the movie, The Legend of Chun-Li. Let us not forget the USA Cartoon Express version of Street Fighter. And it's even more maligned version of Darkstalkers, the animated series.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
I mean, the only acceptable adaptation was Mega Man.
True, because it was done well. Mega Man was actually done well. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I want to give it hope because we have seen video game adaptations. We've seen one so far. One out of the last, let's just say, 30 to 40 attempts. We got a few that were good, but but let's be honest, the goal here is live action. And I'm not against live action, but I do think when you're doing video games, you're trying to introduce reality and logic to a place where it doesn't apply. To me, that'd be like you're trying to do a movie about Ninja Gaiden, knowing full well you shouldn't. The closest you'll get to Ninja Gaiden is probably Ninja Assassin, and that was a whole bunch of CGI.
Well, I mean, let's just face it. The majority, if you want a competent thing, it goes to anime. Mm-hmm. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, not Street Fighter Alpha.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, the Fatal Fury franchise, to a very lesser extent, not Samurai Showdown, Virtual Fighter, the animated series, Voltage Fighter, Go Kaiser.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with animated because, again, MAPPA, Madhouse, Ghibli Studios. I can keep going down the list of animation studios that have done great work. Nothing against if they want to go the anime route, because in anime, you can have that same freedom as you do in video games. I'm just concerned because if you're doing live action, it has to be done well. And for Street Fighter it already has an amazing story. It really does. The fact that they just don't need somebody from Hollywood to go, we just need to amp it up a little bit. I mean, you can go with Ryu and Ken's story about their master and how Akuma came to be.
What are you talking about? Clearly, they were at their peak level in cinematic thing of being drug runners for Sagat.
Why does Sagat look like every bad guy from a Steven Seagal movie? He looked like the quintessential bad guy number 2 from a Steven Seagal movie. I'm like, Sagat to me was supposed to be this guy that was always a rival to Ryu just because of the fact that he pretty much carved his chest open with a dragon punch. But still, it's just...
I mean, we already got the best casting for Chun-Li in the past 50 years.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan does it flawlessly.
Yeah, I would be...
Yes, I am bringing up that one moment in City Hunter.
Oh, dear God. God. I would say this, that, it depends on what they do. Like I said, this is all speculation. We don't know what Legendary Entertainment will do, but let's be honest, movie or television both is eventually coming down the pipe.
So, I mean, well, just this one last touch. I actually kind of trust Legendary because Legendary's been doing pretty okay on us by the Godzilla Monsterverse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they handle Japanese properties well. I mean, the first Godzilla was very hit and miss depending on how you look at it. I got to remind people every single time. Yes, there was barely any Godzilla in it. Please go back and watch the original Gojira. Mm-hmm. That had 8 minutes of Godzilla out of the whole movie.
Although King of the Monsters was good, and they've
King
done
of the Monsters was really good.
King of the Monsters both Kongs movies were good, and then Godzilla versus Kong. I still say they kind of gave, as much as I have to score points, I think Kong really had 2 rounds, but that's just me.
No, Kong had 2 rounds, but Godzilla still gave him the look of stay down kid.
Yes, although that was kind of a cheap shot. But anyway, I'm not arguing that. Not arguing that. But you're right. There is a little bit of leeway we can give Legendary Entertainment on that. But like I said, it's just no wrong. I understand that a movie can be done well, but there are just too many outside factors that can have a great movie idea go really crappy. And trust me, Resident Evil is a great example of that. But I also want to know your opinion, Joe, on this as well, because speaking of movies, we all remember Solo, a Star Wars story, where a lot of people, and also Solo really wasn't a bad movie. It just had bad timing on when it came out. It came out at the wrong time.
The biggest issue with the Solo movie is they crammed everything that was ever said about Han Solo in the movie within an hour and 30-minute time span. You literally just told his whole life. The only thing we didn't do was the extended universe. He turns out he's actually Prince of Corellia.
But still, just the whole thing about it. Like, I always feel like Solo got a bad rap, much like Rebel One. Rebel One got a bad rap, and I'm like, it's much like Andor, and I actually like Andor. But anyway, getting away from my point. But that being said, Mr. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover himself, has confirmed that he is in talks with Lucasfilms about not only bringing Lando back to the Star Wars, but actually maybe giving him his own series. So I was like, don't get me wrong, I loved Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. I think he did a great job with him. And of course, there's always that question of, we don't really know outside of the books and outside the books and the movies, there's really not a lot about Lando Calrissian unless, you follow going to the non-canon. But let me ask you this, Joe. Do you think it's a good idea that that this is at least being talked about? Because even though we do have more Star Wars news, which we'll get to momentarily, but do you think this is a good idea to increase his footprint in the Star Wars universe, or is this a mistake?
I mean, just really depends on how things go. Like, I can see this being like a Star Wars version of Ocean's 11 with him leading everybody, him being the Sinatra.
I can dig that.
Because, I mean, like, I think Lando, I think immediate con man, shyster with the cape, the long gamble, the gambler, or just the long con.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that's just Lando Calrissian to me. Other than if anybody says flowy capes, my mind immediately goes to Lando Calrissian. Doesn't matter what kind of cape we're talking about. It's just you bring up flowy capes, mine just goes to Lando.
But can we also say the cape is always fresh pressed?
Even when he's a guard for Jabba the Hutt, does he have a cape?
That cape is still fresh pressed. It is still dry, clean, fresh pressed.
It's got to be considering how much he has to go outside in the desert.
I mean, I'm just saying, for a man that's surrounded by people that are caked in dust and dirt and sand, he looks like he just stepped off the runway. That's all I'm saying.
I don't mind it. It's one of those things where I got to see, like, what's the premise? Because the only premise to me that works with Lando is a heist film or a con job film, or how he cons his way into playing a long con that gets him Cloud City.
And I wouldn't be mad at that.
No, I wouldn't either.
I mean, I would love that, actually. I would not be mad at that. But I do think, like you said, it has to fit him. It has to be a heist. Like you said, it has to be an Ocean 11s or a heist type of movie. Well, I'll even take Italian Job, because that was also a great heist movie. But yeah, I can live with that if that's what they want to do. But like I said, we did have other Star Wars information that just came out. Because like I said,
we also got other Donald Glover news that just came out.
I mean, like I said, Friday felt like the floodgates of news opened up, and what's going on in the world today, we could use the distraction. But anyway, again, guys, this, of course, if you were in London or didn't know about it, that they did actually have a Star Wars release, kind of a convention, if you will, in Star Wars. They actually gave us some new news.
Yeah, this is Star Wars. This is Star Wars Celebrations. This is the big Star Wars con for everybody. Just this year was in London.
Thank you. So we do know out of that convention that there will be 3 Star Wars movies, as reported by comicbook.com, saying that the past and present and future of the timeline, and they will be directed by James Mangold, Dave Filoni, and Charmin Oben-Chinoy. Now, here's where it gets kind of dicey. We do know that out of these movies, James Mangold's movie will go back to the Dawn of the Jedi, while Dave Filoni's movie will focus on the New Republic and close out the interconnected stories told in The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and Ahsoka, which we'll get to a little bit later, and other Disney Plus series. Of course, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, Charmin Oben-Chinoy's film will be set after the events of Rise of Skywalker and will feature Daisy Ridley's character Rey as she builds a new Jedi Order. Now,
here I can sum it up very easily. Star Wars Episode 10. Everybody's mad.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me say this. Let me start with this, because if I start with this, I think it won't be as bad. When I first read that, I was like, I had to kind of step aside and put away my dislike, because I always felt like the Daisy Ridley, the Rey saga really should have been Finn saga, because of the way advertising had pushed Finn to look like he was going to be a child of the Force, considering the fact that his background was more told than Rey's was, that his story would have aligned more to being a child of the Force than Rey's was. So I kind of had to be like, y'all still want to give her as a Jedi Master and want to? So I had to step back a little bit, because that was my first impression. Then I thought about it. I said, well, if we're going to continue the storyline, technically, Rey being a Jedi Master, which I still think is a little bit of a weak sauce story to tell, because technically the only training she went through was with Luke and her battle with one Sith Lord. It just wait, shake your head, Joe.
Because she did have extensive training with Leia.
See, that's the thing where
remember, that's when they were trying to make all the books and all the movies interconnected. So if you miss the book where she's training with Leia for, I think, a year and a half, she had a decent amount of training. Now, Of course, it's Hollywood, so that means all that training means I can lift 5 rocks as opposed to 1 rock. But
But I guess that's the part where I'm just like I said, I had to let go. I had to let go of that bad taste in my mouth because every time I looked at it, it was like it should have really been Finn, and I'm like,
I don't argue that in the least. I think John Boyega got the shaft. He most definitely should have been as force sensitive as Rey, if not as powerful, and had his own side story. Like, let there be 2 Jedi. I have no problem with that whatsoever. The bright side I see about this is that I believe they've already said this is taking place 15 years after whatever the final movie was.
Yeah. The final movie is The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So this is 15 years in the future. We get Rey building a new Jedi Order. What makes this more important than those movies, especially for the Rey character, is we have her with her own school, her own way of teaching, because Luke came just as curmudgeon-y as the Jedi Council before him.
Yeah.
Meaning this can potentially give Rey to make Rey into extended universe Luke, where extended universe Luke was like, do good things and be good people and use the Force in good ways.
Yeah.
You can have attachments, just don't let them rule you.
Sure,
the other thing is we no longer have the Empire. We don't have remnants of the Empire. We have a whole new villain and a whole new thing we can work with.
Right.
So, I mean, it could be Pirate Guild. It could be, they can bring in the Hapes Consortium, which that in of itself is its own thing.
True.
We can bring the Yuuzhan Vong. We can bring in the mother, the father, and the daughter from Clone Wars, like they were doing, what was her name? Abeloth.
Yeah. But I think that's going to
bring in a litany of things that are not Empire related and make it its own, give her own unique story rather than retreading Skywalker stuff.
But here's the thing, though. Are you going to really be able to retain? Because a lot of people got turned off on the Rey series. So the problem is, and I understand because I had to explain to some people, the Star Wars you grew up with is not the Star Wars we're putting out there because really it's not for you. It's for the next generation.
It is.
So I guess that's going to be the challenge because a lot of people were turned off on the Rise of Skywalker, and now you're about to really dive back into Rey's story years later, and I'm not saying it's an impossible mission, but it's going to be difficult to hook them back.
Well, here's the other thing that I think a lot of people aren't seeing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not promised a trilogy. This is its own thing. These 3 directors are not trying to make an interconnected movie.
Right.
John Boyega, somebody could pull up to John Boyega's front yard with a dump truck full of money. It's like, hey, you're going to be in the Rey movie. You're going to be one of the teachers at the Jedi Academy. We're going to give you your due, and we're going to make things right.
If they did that the same way they did I got to stop myself because I'm going into Mandalorian because again I felt like that was a right wrong was righted in that story, but we'll get to that later. But no, I get it. If they did do that, it would mend some fences because again, people look at Finn and go, it really should have been you. It should have.
We're also very clearly Lando's missing son. We're not idiots.
I mean, technically, you could have said Mace Windu found you and trained you in his style because, again, we never saw a body. But I digress. But
that could even be a thing. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, Mace could have found him and trained him for all we know. But another thing that did come out of the Star Wars Celebration was a trailer for Ahsoka, and it is, well, it's beautiful.
I hope you like Rebels because
it's
the rebelliest rebel there ever rebelled.
Yep, here's the trailer.
Something's coming. Something dark. I sense it.
This is a new beginning. For some, war.
For others, power.
It's been a while. Things have changed. I started hearing whispers about Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire. We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
Perhaps it is time to begin again.
And that was Star Wars Ahsoka. As you can see, it'll be streaming in August, and it is freaking beautiful. And as Joe has said, and I will let him say it again.
Hope you like your Rebels, because it's the rebellious rebel that ever rebelled. Like, it starts with a Lothcat. We're on Lothal. All of the voice actors that are surviving characters in Rebels for the women are coming back. So here's voice actress is playing Hera. Sabine's voice actress is going to be Sabine. Dave Filoni is coming back to be the drunken, very sailor cursing droid Chopper. We've already seen Zeb in The Mandalorian as reprised by Steve Blum. I have no idea who's going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. For me, guessing it would be Benedict Cumberbatch, but he's too busy being strange.
True.
Maybe Mark Thompson will also play him. I have no idea how tall Mark Thompson is. I know they have to recast Ezra because he's going to be slightly older because this is the same time period as The Mandalorian, from what I understand. As I said, hope you like your, and I think David Tennant's back as the medical droid.
Yes.
I'm down for that. The only thing that really confuses me are, I know one of them is an Inquisitor, but the other two have not red lightsabers. They look like they're bronze colored lightsabers.
I've been trying to figure out who they are. I have not been able to put them together.
Because they're not Inquisitors, because this is after the Empire.
Right. In bronze sabers, I'm like, I've been trying to put that together. I looked at that trailer 10 times and can't figure out who those two people are.
I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm wondering if it's the way the trailer's cut and the effects aren't done and those are going to be red lightsabers in the grand scheme of things. No, those are like bronze sabers.
That's why I'm just like, there's somebody, but I guess that'll come along. But I guess we'll find out come August. But again, I'm not complaining because number one, aside from that, The Bad Batch, which we haven't mentioned a lot in their second season, but also good if you haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Skeleton Crew is coming up. I know I'm missing one.
The Acolyte.
The Acolyte is also coming up. Thank you. So Star Wars is going to have a busy slate of shows coming to us. So again, not complaining about this. However, very quickly, because me and Joe are both fans of sports entertainment, also known as wrestling. And I say it many a times. I'll do to echo Mr. Kennedy. Wrestling is real. People are fake. I don't know how we feel about this because unless you've been under a rock or watched WrestleMania, there was news that came out about after the second night of WrestleMania that WWE has been purchased by Endeavor. Endeavor is the same company that also owns the UFC, also owns WWE, all under the same umbrella. Now, you would think because, well, we already know that Vince McMahon has been trying to sell WWE since his exit for nefarious intent, as we'll call it.
He currently looks like evil Walt Disney, so
yeah, he does look like a person. He does look like the evil version of Walt Disney. But the reason why we're bringing that up, guys, is basically because of the sale to WWE, the plans in place actually has Vince McMahon back in creative control of WWE. So unless you have seen, this week's Raw, this week's NXT, and tonight's SmackDown, you will see that a lot of things have changed. Basically put, because Vince is back in control.
Let's rephrase that. We've seen a lot of things change back.
Yeah, a lot of things changed back to the to where Vince thinks is great ideas. Cody Rhodes went from facing Roman Reigns for the WWE title to now beefing with Brock Lesnar. Long story short, guys, this is the one thing that we were afraid of when Vince came back, because Vince feels out of touch when it comes to today's wrestling and sports entertainment, how stories and angles are written. Wrestlers who have signed on to contracts, who's, by the way, a lot of the top stars' contracts are expiring, whether it's next week or the week after next, which are really rethinking their ideas of staying with WWE. Even former IWGP heavyweight Jay White, the Switchblade, who was initially coming to WWE, had changed gears and went to AEW. Why? Basically because Vince McMahon is a person that just seems out of touch with time. And really quick, Joe, do you think this is the beginning of the end for WWE? Because I don't see Triple H staying in there too long for this.
He was supposed to actually address that this week, but no. I see things going badly when we see Conor McGregor holding the IC belt.
Yeah. And of all
now, Mania was... I actually enjoyed Mania.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite match was easily the McIntyre Sheamus. What are they calling him these days? I just call him
Gunther, because his name is Walter.
Yeah, Walter.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite match the whole time, because I guarantee you, and my buddy Jesse, who's a indie referee, looked at these three men and Gorilla, just shook hands and went, "I'm sorry for what I'm going to do to you out there."
Yeah, I mean,
they were throwing potatoes at each other.
Oh, that was a lot of hard hits, especially between McIntyre and Gunther. My God!
Oh no, it was the slaps were so bad on Sheamus, he just became.
Oh, it was just red.
Oh no, we call him what he was. He went from Larry Bird clear, as he usually is, to standard Caucasian.
Yeah, he actually had some color in his veins from those slaps. But no, it's just, don't get me wrong, WrestleMania, WrestleMania Night 1 was great from a booking standpoint, because I don't want to get too stuck on that, because for WrestleMania Night 2, Cody really should have been put over, or Roman Reigns should have won clean. It just didn't feel right for a finish. At the same time, as much as I love Bianca Belair, I think that Asuka really should have won and let her run with the Kana-chan gimmick for the title. It's just odd that they really didn't pull the trigger in a lot of places, especially as we mentioned the Intercontinental title match. I would have loved to see Gunther lose to Sheamus or McIntyre, and then McIntyre and Sheamus could went ahead and have their own program, and Gunther would have been free to maybe go for one of the championships. I would have been fine with that. But to me, Night 1 was great. Night 2, the finishes could have been better. But
not to mention the amount of staples Finn had to get on his head for
that ladder shot. That picture they showed afterwards, where that man was split like a melon. That's why I was like, ooh, dear God.
We were just like, we saw the ladder go, and we all just went boop.
Yeah. He split. That
no,
man
I guarantee
split.
the reason Roman didn't drop is because they want Roman to get the longest reigning record ever. Which is fine. That means he'll probably just drop it at SummerSlam.
Yeah, but now you're milking it, because that's why I'm saying that's the problem with that. It's like, well, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think the other reason with Brock Lesnar is he nearly pulled a Hulk Hogan during the Amos match and really effed his back up.
I thought he injured himself. That suplex where he hyperextended and he came up
Amos wasn't in a position to like help him on the first one.
Yeah. I mean, you're trying to suplex a guy that's got about 5 inches on you, 5-6 inches on you, and you're trying to suplex him. I mean, good God, man. And I thought that a couple of times that Brock Lesnar messed himself up. I kind of thought the way he was doing, he was messing himself up. But again, we will see what happens with Vince now ready to show back in WWE, but there are dark times ahead. Dark times ahead, indeed. But like I said, we got a crap load of trailers, and we still got something to go through. This one I'm kind of curious about because I have not seen this anime in a very long time. The fact this is going to be live action, I'm curious to see how they're going to go with this. Now, they're calling this Knights of the Zodiac, but if you're wondering yourself why they're not called it Saint Seiya, it's only because it's a short name, but it's still Knights of the Zodiac. And like I said, seeing the trailer, I'm digging it. Joe, any thoughts before we play it?
Oh, hey, they got Icky in here.
Here's Knights of the Zodiac.
Vision. People burning. Everything destroyed.
It was Athena. She was doing it. I was doing it.
We won't let that happen, will we? I saw what you did in the ring. I knew it had to be you, Seiya. What if I told you Sienna here is the reincarnation of the goddess Athena? And you are destined to become one of her guardian knights.
How does it feel to be a goddess?
Sometimes I feel like I'm a guest in my own body.
Are you ready to start your training?
The Pegasus Knight is brave, humble,
and committed to protecting Athena with his life.
How the hell did you do that?
The war that awaits us is unlike any other before. I must save the rest of us from her.
You think I wanted any of this?
His power is a liability. Once he learns to control it, no living man will be able to stop it.
You might want to buckle up.
Thought you were the only knight in town?
Okay, so that was Knights of the Zodiac. As you can see, will be in theaters on May 12th. I'm a fan of the old series. I, think this is actually going to be great. I really can't find any problems with this because I like the fact they're not going with the full slate, but they're really just trying to tell the story. And who could not hate on Sean Bean still somehow making it alive through one series? But Joe, any thoughts on it?
I mean, they're only going to cover the first arc, which is the Dark Knight arc, which means that this is going to end with this movie's going to end open-endedly so they can try and get a sequel. I do not foresee this going very well in the theaters. I mean, this is really reaching. This is the only advertisement we've seen for it.
Yeah.
Props that we are getting in probably an Asian American lead. They're going to do their best where they can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a giant Saint Seiya fan. I like that Phoenix Icky is popped up in this. We do not see the other three knights, however.
Which I think they're gonna. I thought was kind of odd, but now that you mentioned they're doing the first arc, that really does make sense.
Famke Jensen is gonna be Eagle Marin, which is weird because Eagle Marin doesn't come till later. Seiya's trainer is Shayna.
Yeah.
Orphan X Shayna. So, I mean, this is the fan in me versus what we're seeing on the screen. I mean, I'll watch it at some point, maybe even see it in theater, but it's one of those, unless they really heavily promote this going forward, and they got a little bit over a month to see it, it's going to be a flash in the pan.
Yeah, it might be low production, but hey, as long as I'll still give it a fair shot. But speaking of things that are short, moving to the next trailer, because this trailer is exceptionally short, we did get a little bit of a teaser trailer for My Adventures with Superman.
What was that?
Everybody get back!
Oh, no! Superman! Are you okay?
I am now.
See, I told you it was short. Yes, My Adventure with Superman coming on Adult Swim. Now, this looks like this Superman does look like in the same style that James Gunn envisioned as far as his Superman legacy movie that he's already written and will be directing very soon. As he did say, he did want to go with a younger Superman. But just from that clip, like I said, 15 seconds is a lot to go off of. Is not a lot to go off on. But Joe, what do you think about it just from that trailer?
Well, this is one of the survivors from the Zaslav, or I think it's Zaslav, the great WB purge of animation projects, because Amazon is picking up the Cape Crusader series. Adult Swim is picking this up just so it gets made. I don't understand why it's an Adult Swim series. This is something that I can just see being on Cartoon Network, but maybe like, who knows? I don't know what the rest of the format is, because I just know it's like this series is really going to be focusing on Jimmy, Lois, and Clark more than it really is Superman.
Yeah.
The animation style makes me think that this is Adult Luz and Gus from Owl House, and they just stumble upon a new friend who happens to be Superman, but that's because it's a similar art style. I mean, it seems fine. I don't have live television. I don't have HBO Max, so, watch it through means.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot just because this is going to be, this seems like it's going to be in that same vein for the gun DC Studios. I really, like I said, 15 seconds is really not a lot to go off on. I dig the animation style. I dig the look of Superman, but it's one of those where I guess we'll have to wait and see as it gets closer to Adult Swim. But just like I said, 15 seconds. It was pretty quick. That also being said, guys, I did want to show a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom. I know I'm late to the party, but I have been avoiding any Tears of the Kingdom information since my son has arrived. So what we do have here is the demonstration from the Nintendo Switch Direct they did a week ago. But I just wanted to show a few minutes of my next video game obsession, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Of course, it's not just the same world as is. It's changed in many ways. If we talk about all of the changes today, we'll run out of time, so we hope you'll seek them out for yourself when the game launches. In this game, the vast world of Hyrule reaches high into the sky. You'll notice some landmasses floating up there. We call them Sky Islands. You're probably wondering something. How do you get to the Sky Islands when they're so high up? If we take a look, oh, something's falling from the sky. Do you see it? I wonder what that is. Let's head over to it. We're almost at the spot where the object fell. Here it is. Okay, let's use one of Link's new abilities. If you do this on the rock that just fell... Look, it started rising. This power is known as Recall, which rewinds an object's movement. Since I just used Recall on the fallen rock, I can now rise into the sky. We're a lot closer to the Sky Islands. Let's use the paraglider to reach one of them. There are a few other Sky Islands floating here too. I made it. There are lots of ways to reach the Sky Islands, so we hope you'll try a few different methods. Okay, now we're on a slightly bigger Sky Island. Just like on the surface, there are several man-made structures. Some trees are also growing here. You won't see many of those yellow trees on the surface, though.
Okay, so I didn't want to go too much into it, guys. Like I said, it is a 15-minute demonstration, but I just want to show a little bit of it because, like I said, me and Joe are both huge Zelda fans. I know there's plenty of Zelda fans out there like yourselves that have seen Tears of the Kingdom, have seen the trailer, have seen the gameplay. I am not against it. I think it's going to be great. Like I said, it's going to probably be my next obsession. Joe, any thoughts that you had on Tears of the Kingdom?
I mean, the thing that worries me the most about this is we're still not hearing anything about dungeons.
Right.
Weapon degradation is still there, but that's augmented with weapon fusion. My idea is still that Link could take a weapon, level it up, take it to a blacksmith, and progress to the next level of that weapon. I mean, I'm going to get it and try it. I was not a fan of the first Breath of the Wild because the mini dungeons bored the crap out of me, and your ultimate goal is to fight a giant pig fart cloud.
Although, shout out to whoever figured out how to get the Master Sword very early. Thank you for that. Whoever figured that out, thank you.
Once the story got moving, the game got better, but still your ultimate goal was to defeat the fart cloud.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. So hopefully this Ganon will be... It is my hope that this Ganon will match my favorite Ganon, which is the Wind Waker Ganon.
Okay.
Who is like quite philosophical about how the world works and what he wanted, what his reasons for it, rather than just, I'm Ganon, I'm evil, I'll eventually turn into a pig. I mean, I'm currently doing Skyward Sword HD with we'll call it a Pro Controller. That's making a world of difference.
Yeah.
So somewhat enjoying that, but this is going to be one of those things where I want to see how the story is, and if we get dungeons. If we don't get dungeons, I'm not getting this. Like,
I think they'll include dungeons. I think that because dungeons do make up the game. They really do. Outside of a few things, dungeons and their challenges and the Master Trials really do make up the game for Legend of Zelda. So I have faith that we will see dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom. I really do. I really think so. I would like it to be elevated to be more challenging, but I think they'll make that work. But again, we'll find that out. I still gotta play Skyward Sword, but oh dear God, I got a backlog of games. But anyway, moving right along, guys. Like I said, we have trailers. That news that came out. Have you ever wanted to see Indiana Jones just really be old man, get off my lawn guy? You're gonna get that because I'm still gonna watch it. And Joe, I want your opinions on this too, because the next trailer we're gonna show is Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, and I kind of feel like this went from nostalgia to maybe a little bit of money grab. But you guys watch the trailer and tell me.
Wait, there's a new trailer?
Yep.
Huh.
You may have already seen this. Just let me know.
I'm retiring.
Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
Same for the goddaughter.
Dad told me you found something on a train during the war. A dial that could change the course of history.
Why are you chasing the thing that drove your father crazy?
Don't move. Please get out of here. Stop! Sorry.
Helena!
Dr. Jones, get him. Hitler made mistakes, and with this, I will correct them all. You stole it. Then you stole it.
And then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
This way!
Fasten your seatbelt. There might be some turbulence.
You've taken your chances, made your mistakes. And now a final triumph.
Indy! Give him hell, Indiana Jones! A few times in my life, I've seen things. I've been tortured with voodoo. Been shot 9 times, including once by your father. Ow! Sorry! But I've been looking for this all my life.
Okay. And that was Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. As you can see, will be coming out June the 30th. Look, I am an Indiana Jones fan. I really am. Especially still my favorite, still Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's still my favorite. I mean, I love the Temple of Doom. I love The Last Crusade. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it's there. But I look at The Dial of Destiny, I'm thinking, okay, it's almost like an older Indiana Jones situation. Really to the level of almost old man get off my lawn kind of thing. I'm not against it just because it is a twist with the goddaughter of the guy from, if I'm right, the guy from Raiders of the guy from Last Crusade. That's her father. But is it me or are we just, correct me if I'm wrong here, Joe, this is what you're getting out of this. That when I look at The Dial of Destiny, do I feel like they're kind of going a little bit too deep in the nostalgia well, or is this going to give us a different retelling of Indy as an older Indiana Jones?
It's going to be a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, it feels like it's a nostalgia movie where it's going to go back to and don't get me wrong, Mads Mikkelsen, I will watch that man in anything. He is first off, a phenomenal actor. He plays an amazing bad guy. Also plays a good guy as well. But again, phenomenal actor. We'll definitely watch him in anything that he does. I guess that's what I'm worried about. The whole idea of it going into nostalgia too much and not really telling an original story is where my concern is. But anything on your end, Joe, about the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
Go try and find young Indiana Jones, which is still the best version of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I mean, arguable, but yes. I don't know. Like I said,
the only other thing I can say is, if your biggest complaint was the fridge, we got more new complaints for you coming soon.
Definitely the fridge made sense. Lead line, nuclear explosion. I mean, it did.
It's going to be hard to argue with Shia LaBeouf, but
Yeah, I'm like, well, Hollywood tried. But no, like I said, June 30th, that comes out. Another trailer, because like I said, we got trailer heavy this week. But this one was a welcomed look. This is basically the next trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If you have not seen this, you really should, because this is the entire reason why I love the MCU. Because what a certain Spider-Man says lets you know that everything is connected. Everything is connected. But here's Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse.
My name is Miles Morales. I'm Brooklyn's one and only Spider-Man. And things are going great.
Oh, yeah. You were supposed to be here at 5.
All right, whatever.
Whatever?
Wow.
Whatever?
So are you like a cow or a Dalmatian?
I am the Spot. It's not funny.
Don't do that.
Miles's grades are pretty good. A in AP Physics.
That's my little man.
And a B in Spanish.
What? Ooh, okay. Miles. Are you trying? Mira, eso es imposible.
I gotta go. All right, bye.
He's lying to you. And I think you know it.
What's up, danger?
Miles!
Want to get out of here?
Oh, Gwen? So wait a minute. There's an elite crew with all the best spider people in it?
Who's the new guy?
This is unbelievable.
This is the lobby. Miguel O'Hara. The whole thing was his idea.
What's a guy got to do to join this spider team?
You can never be part of this.
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99.
Come on, go easy on the kid. He had a terrible teacher.
Peter.
Miles! Mayday.
You have a baby?
I have a baby.
I'll take it from here.
Miles, being Spider-Man is a sacrifice.
What's up, danger?
You have a choice between saving one person and saving every world.
Send me home. I can't do that.
I can do both. Spider-Man always.
Not always.
What about Uncle Ben?
If not for Uncle Ben, most of us wouldn't be here.
Can't stop me now!
can't run forever, kid.
I can't lose one more friend.
Miguel, this isn't what we talked about.
You knew?
I have no idea what you're doing.
Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
All stations, stop Spider-Man.
You? Me?
And then I looked at my uncle and...
let me guess. He died?
Oh man, that looks so good. That was Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse. As you can see, guys, June the 2nd. There is no words for this because, again, very few movies that you still get the same feelings for. Again, Into the Spider-Verse definitely going to be feeling for me just because What's Up Danger still works for this, and the fact of the leap of faith scene still gives me chills. And Across the Spider-Verse, I still feel the same way. Even though we're seeing a bunch more, we're seeing different variations, including one Scarlet Spider, which you have been very quiet about, Joe.
They made me look pretty.
You've been very quiet about the Scarlet Spider showing there. But no, it does. I mean, Oscar Isaac, if you don't know who that man is, you will know when you see him. He's actually voicing Miguel Herrera's Spider-Man 2099. So that's going to be interesting as far as that, because I still think that movie's still being split up into two movies. So we're getting
this is Into the Spider-Verse, and I think the final one is Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Beyond Spider-Verse is the third movie. So I got no complaints about it. I'm just looking forward to really watching it. Kind of curious to see if we I still think that we're going to see, because Nicolas Cage, we reported this in our podcast a long while back. He wasn't invited to Across the Spider-Verse, but I still think we're going to see Spider-Man Noir somewhere down the road, if not in this movie, the next movie. But anything more to add to that, Joe?
This is a slightly different trailer than what I saw. I got to see the international trailer.
Uh-huh.
There are some slight differences. We see that potentially Miguel O'Hara's choice was between his daughter and the world, which is why he's super antsy around Peter and Mayday.
Yeah.
The other thing I was wondering is so did Uncle Aaron's death just not mean anything last movie at all?
It's kind of like a blip on the radar. But then again, it could be the way the trailer's cut.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly going to be making a choice between, I guess, his dad.
Yeah.
And the thing.
I still say
also his mom snapping in Puerto Rican lets you know that you've done wrong.
Oh yeah, but I still say since Into the Spider-Verse, his dad knows who he is. He knows his identity. He knows he's Spider-Man.
Oh, I think both parents know who he is.
Yeah.
Because the initial trailer we got where the mom's talking about, hey, take care of the little boy I raised. That's also oh, you both know, but you're just not telling him.
Right. Although the whole thing, you got to be in Spanish, and you messed up. Anybody who's ever got a Puerto Rican mother or a mother of Latin descent, if you come back and you got to be in the native tongue,
we have a word for you in Japanese in multiple languages that cross over everything. It is known as slipper.
And that's you catching that. That's catching one. That's definitely catching one. But
it's gonna be like Black Dynamite. It'll be just like, you like that? I hit you before I even threw it into the room.
Jesus, you ain't lying. That Conchalla has some magical properties. But speaking of movies, I know Joe got to see Super Mario Brothers movie. I am waiting to see it. But Joe, since you got to see it, sir, what were your impressions on the Super Mario Brothers movie?
It's a good. No, it was a very fun time. It's a very, very quick movie. It's literally only an hour and 32 minutes. The only real grief I have with it is they shoehorn in 80s music for no reason on some of these things. Like the training montage has I Need a Hero, and there's other songs. And they're the only one song I kind of agree with is No Sleep Till Brooklyn. But this is also Easter egg galore.
Okay.
Like the bar that they hang out with is one giant Easter egg. Multiple areas of the movies are Easter eggs. Just it's everywhere you look. If you are a Nintendo person or a Nintendo fan, or you just know where to look or what you're looking at, there's an Easter egg almost at all times. Pratt does an okay job there. His voice gets high when it needs to. Charles Martinet does make an appearance as a character.
Okay.
Charlie Day makes a good version of Luigi. It makes me want to have a Luigi's Mansion movie. I don't know who the kid they got to be the Luma in this. But this Luma is the one Luma that Rosalina definitely did not hug enough.
Damn.
He is a very nihilistic child.
Damn.
Even the end credits. There are two after scene credits, exactly what I thought it would be too. The biggest thing for me, without giving too much away, is you meet the entirety of the Mario family.
Okay.
Like the entirety of the Mario family. The mom, the dad, the grandpa, either older brother or uncle and his wife.
Okay.
Yeah. You also one of the reasons behind the white gloves. Seeing Mario without gloves is kind of like a weird thing.
Creepy, isn't it?
Little bit. I said I enjoyed it. They actually kept within the rules of the game too. So they say, oh, hey, here's a power up, but if you get hit, you lose the power up. So, you know, I mean, they even kept game rules. It was just a fun time. I know the critics were looking for like very deep character moments, but I've been sharing in the group chat for news. Like, this is on track to be Illumination's like best, highest grossing film, probably getting close to $200 million, like within the first week, getting very close to that in a 5-day viewing. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Are you getting some deep character retrospective? No. This is Mario. You don't need to know that much about Mario in a Mario movie. Like, your things are very there. The cool thing now is, though, we are moving away from the trope of Princess Peach because Peach is like hyper competent in this movie.
Okay.
Almost like she was in the old Nintendo Power mangas. To the point where it's, like she's that hyper competent of a character. Like,
okay. More like
the biggest one that needs saving in this is Luigi, just because they're playing off the trope of Luigi's Mansion's Luigi.
I'm about to say Luigi's Mansion Luigi.
It's not that he's incompetent, it's just that his anxiety and
bad timing.
No, cowardice is just at an all-time high. But once he's in there, he's as competent as Mario.
Gotcha.
There's also a lot of really cool 2D sequences in the movie. Also, the Kongs are fun in there.
Okay, that's something to keep in mind because I definitely want to go see that. I know my son went to go see it, and he went to go see it with his grandpa today, and he said he loved it. So yeah, gives me reason to go see it. But we do have a couple more trailers before we another news before we get to our comic pool. So again, I'm not sure how I feel about this because Sony, of course, Sony has announced that they will be having a new PlayStation handheld in the works. This will be tethered to the PlayStation 5, codenamed Q Lite. Supposedly, this is going to come out or launch either before the PS5 Pro or after. But right now, it is slated to hit stores in the 2024 holiday season. The last of our two trailers that we do guys have is one for HBO Max for Clone High. If you don't know about Clone High, well, let this trailer give you a good idea.
Something feels off.
Whoa! A little spaceship!
20 years ago, Cinnamon J. Scudworth created clones of historical figures and sent them to a high school called Clone High.
And then suddenly, he froze the clones on winter prom night.
Our mission is to unfreeze those clones, then secretly groom them to one day rule the world.
And so begins
Operation Spread Eagle.
Oh my god, this is a nightmare. Somebody wake me up.
She's great.
What's your name? It's Confucius.
Harriet Tubman! JFK! Cleopatra! If it isn't Joan of Arc.
I'm tougher bus. Do you know what my real name is? Christopher Columbus.
Cool.
Not cool.
Frida Kahlo!
Shred, Frida, shred!
Where do you think you're going, Unibrow?
Does anyone mind if I kick off a montage? Cool. I like boobies and butts. So sex positive.
Yes, I am positive I like sex. Why have so many thoughts and unsolicited opinions?
It's becoming clearer which clones have the potential to be world leaders.
Rock fight. Whoever gets hit in the nuts wins. Oh, let's play again. Oh, so fun.
I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that at all. That was actually for Clone High that'll be coming out on HBO Max relatively soon. I feel like I was like when I first read the synopsis, I'm like, you know what? Not mad about this at all. It's actually going to be pretty funny. Definitely not for kids. Please do not let your kids watch this. Please, oh please, do not let your kids watch this. But Joe, any thoughts on Clone High?
I mean, aside from Gandhi clearly not returning.
Yeah.
Even though that was probably an accurate version of Gandhi as a teenager from what the stories of his youth was like, because Gandhi was a party dude in his younger years and then became a holy messiah in his elderly years. But, you know, what does history teach us? No, I mean, I'm fine with it. I loved Clone High. I liked watching it on YouTube, and just until recently when everything got taken down and scrubbed, because I think it's on HBO Max proper now, but as it should be. It kind of needs to be seen. It's one of those like Up with Daria. You just got to watch it.
Yeah, fair point.
I don't know how well this one was going to go over. I like the fact that we got Confucius. The Harriet Tubman on a Roomba was a little odd and poignant, but you know.
Well, why are we expecting anything different? Especially with the routes they're going with. But we'll give it a shot.
I mean, at least it's not Rosa Parks on a thing.
Thank God. I thought that would probably cost some hell for that one. But we'll give it a shot when it comes out. So, really quick impressions of the week's shows. We got to first start with the crowd favorite. We have to start with The Flash. For me, I am glad that the next episode is the last one. I mean, this was supposed to be it was already going to be a shortened season. You know, they basically took Red Death and trashed that in 4 episodes. Every other episode has been like being written by Legends of Tomorrow. And, you know, not to go into the last couple of episodes because really there's no point. They were really trashy, didn't go anywhere. Too many subplots had more mess than a person trying to make soup and realizing that they just didn't follow the instructions. Which this is why I'm saying by episode 9, I will be greatly happy that, you know, a series that did have so much promise at first will finally be put to rest. So that's about the best way I could put it. But Joe, any thoughts on The Flash? And
it was better than last week. And, you know, I said what I said about last week. I love the fact that we have a trans hero in the thing. She was fine when she popped over in the John Kent Superboy book. Mm-hmm. The episode wasn't that great, but she did a good job. This week, I feel like this should have been the episode where they rescue the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just because we're dealing with Kronos, who, if you don't remember, was a big deal in Justice League the Animated Series because he got his own 2-part episode.
Yeah.
And I think it was the only time you got to see Hal Jordan for like a hot second.
Yeah.
In Justice League, but more importantly, you got adult Future Static in that one.
Yeah.
It was Batman Beyond, but you know, I think the whole premise of these last 3 seasons is Who is Keone, and when the hell is baby Nora coming out? The thing that bothered me is, why are we still with Chester and Allegra? Trying to figure out who they are. You're in a relationship. Great. This is the CW. You don't have enough time for twists, turns, and romantic backstabs, and the most obvious trope of, oh, we need to talk more.
Yeah. It like I said, it's good and terrible. But actually, on the other spectrum, though, Superman and Lois, which, again, I got no issues with. They are going with the Bruno Mannheim / Intergang angle. The fact that we are going to be seeing a little bit more of Jonathan as he gets Jordan as he gets his suit, along with the goggles. But the episode where Clark almost ended a person. Well, he held back, but still, the whole look on everybody's face is like, damn, Clark, what you guy can get if a guy pulls a gun on your wife and hits your kid? You're blind. I'm like, if this was a Superman that had no morals, he'd be orbiting Earth by now. But I've got no issues with Superman and Lois so far. They are still holding to be a very strong television series in the writing. I am going to be curious to see what they do now that John Henry knows about Bruno Mannheim, and Bruno Mannheim is really acting more Lex Luthor than Bruno Mannheim, using his family as basically an insurance policy if anything happens to him. But again, I got no issues with Superman and Lois. I think it's been great so far. Hopefully they don't end after the season. I would rather hopefully them get picked up by HBO Max and continue on from there. But any thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, I mean, Clark nearly took that S off and just put a U on his chest.
Oh, yeah. Ultraman almost showed up.
I don't know how I feel about the other suit for the kids, especially the goofy goggles. Like, if we're just going to start doing other Superman costumes, we already got Steel. Just give one of the kids the Eradicator suit and modify it to be for a kid.
Yeah.
The other kid's clearly getting the Connor Kent suit at some point. Just give the other kid the Bret Hart stunner shades and be done with it.
I forgot about that. But no, I mean, it's still, like I said, I still think it's really great as far as what they were going with. But another thing, though, again, another show that came out, not really came out, but really quickly on this one as well. We didn't want to go ahead and go into The Mandalorian just because, number one, the most recent episode had surprise cameos, by the way, not just by Jack Black, not just by Lizzo, but Christopher Lloyd, because I'm not going to lie, it almost passed me by until I listened to his voice. That Christopher Lloyd, of course, the guy who played Doc Brown in many of the roles, were all a part of this week's most recent Mandalorian episode. Jack Black, to me, is a guy that could be in any fantasy world and own it. Lizzo, I thought, did exceptionally well in her role as a queen. And, of course, I love how Din Djarin literally solved Bo-Katan's problem, and he used it with logic. Because he literally sat there and said, because for all those that know, I don't want to spoil it because, again, it's recently new. I want people to go back and see how he did it. I'm just saying that he solved it with logic.
What was it that they said in every... Oh, right. He solved it by using the transitive property.
Yes. He really did. And he can't be mad about it because it's still within the rules. But, again, don't want to spoil it just because I thought it was great. I love where they're going with Bo-Katan. And as far as her role, the armorer, there's a reason why they call that person the armorer, because my God, even with two things in her hands, she was still dangerous. But no, any thoughts on Mandalorian, Joe?
I mean, for the newest episode, I dug it. It kind of had a Blade Runner vibe to it a little bit.
A little bit.
I do like that Industrial Light and Magic gave a special thanks to Christopher Lloyd because it says like, hey, we've been working with you for like 40 years. Yeah. And you've been a mensch. Like, yeah. We said, and they even joke in there, it's like, we still have Judge Doom in our archives if you ever want to do anything with it. It's like, because we worked with him in, I think, what do they say? Your time in Star Trek 3. Mm-hmm. the entirety of the Back to the Future franchise was them.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit, and now this.
Yeah. The man has a long longevity, but loved his character Mandalorian too.
I would say the other thing that stood out is I can generally believe that Jack Black and Lizzo are married in that universe.
Yeah. It worked out. It was believable, the fact of just, Jack Black, yes, we have a problem, my auspicious queen. And don't get me wrong, I love Lizzo because Lizzo, number one, phenomenal talent as singer. But the fact that in another interview, she sat there and said that when she got offered the role, she bawled out crying because her dad introduced her to Star Wars. And then unfortunately he passed before he could see her in a Star Wars role. So that hit home for her, but she owned that role to me.
What was the other thing I was going to bring up? You can also tell Jack Black was looking for where's my singing part in this episode?
Yes. Today, the Tenacious D part of him was coming out. You could tell. The Tenacious D part of it all was coming out.
Yeah, just a bit.
I was waiting for Kyle Glass to come out somewhere, honestly. But what are you gonna say?
This is not a spoiler for Mario Brothers, but because Jack Black is Bowser, there is a musical sequence.
I have to go watch that. I have to go watch that movie. I have to go watch it now. But again, Mandalorian, no issues, love it. And that's really all that I do see get your pulls lined up. So let me go ahead and add this, sir, and go for it.
Yep. So what did you think of this one? Because I did not see that twist coming, both figuratively and literally. I did not need to make that pun.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I did not see that coming either. I mean, I thought the Welshman fight would go a little bit longer, but yeah, that twist at the end. That's all I just said.
What we're talking about is
the action at the end.
John, from the last issue, John starts going multiverse hopping with a Phantom Zone projector and tries to find Ultraman. Finds Ultraman. It does not go the way he wants. Fight ensues, and John's electric blue powers come out.
Yeah.
Apparently also changes his suit. And apparently the multiverse that they found themselves in is in the Injustice universe. And I don't know what point this is, but this is clearly before game 1 and 2 happened. But without spoiling too much, we'll just say Injustice Superman finds them both.
You ain't lying. And just
as we can see here, this is written by Tom Taylor with art by Clayton Henry, colors by Jordi Belair, and lettering by Wes Abbott. As we see right here, Injustice Superman finds him and apparently meets John. The reason why he's crying is because John in this universe shouldn't exist.
Right.
Because he died in his mother's womb by Superman's hands. That is not, I am okay with spoiling that because that is a long known fact from the Injustice video game.
And has to be explained the reason why he's crying. But yeah.
Yes. Apparently he should have a sister in this universe too. I'm not sure about that or not, but I think there's supposed to be this was supposed to be his second kid.
Yeah, second.
Okay. We just never got to see the daughter at that point. Moving along, I mean, this was a good book. Again, I definitely support the John Kent storylines. It's interesting. They are definitely trying to make John his own thing. I am more than okay with him becoming Electric Blue Superman.
Yeah.
Because that was a distinctive time period that a lot of people have nostalgia for, but it didn't really go anywhere because, Clark is just too inundated with the general public as a certain version of Superman. So giving the Electric Blue identity to John makes sense.
Yeah.
It just is kind of a bummer we do away with one of his primary. He keeps having the Marvel effect where he keeps losing his primary antagonists.
But in this case, wow. Just wow. There's no other way to put it right now. Just wow.
Yeah. That may not even be the main Ultraman, so we may not have to worry about that.
Yeah, but still. Wow. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep. Flash 796. This is the 1 minute war, the finale to the 1 minute war. This is written by Jeremy Adams with pencils by Roger Cruz, George Habandis, and Fernando Parsin. At least I think I'm reading that right. Inks by Wellington Diaz, George Hambada, and Auclair Albert, with colors by Luis Guerrero, Matt Herms, and Pete Panteras. This is slowly running out the Jeremy Adams run because at issue 800, his run ends. And then we get the new Cosmic Horror Flash book by Cy Spurrier, which is a weird sentence alone to say that. But the next book is still going to be Wally, so I'm still going to read it. This ties up a lot of things, so they really want to undo Heroes in Crisis.
You ain't lying.
And this book pretty much just eradicates this, save for Speedy, Roy Harper, which they just stayed like, look, it's pivotal that he died because we got stuff we want to do with him in Green Arrow.
He's a fixed point. He's a fixed point. It couldn't be saved.
Like,
but yeah.
Old Beetle says, like, look, he was like right next to you when you exploded. I couldn't get him out of there. Everybody else, though, they're fine.
Yeah. But still.
Barry wins him the 1 minute war doing something honestly kind of messed up for Barry to do, but Barry's one of those, like, you just don't make him mad. It's like when Spider-Man goes quiet, you worry.
When Spider-Man doesn't do his one-liners, you should be worried.
Yeah, when Spider-Man just looks at you and doesn't say anything, be very worried. When Barry Allen stops being Chipper Barry, I was going to say run, but that's pointless.
Running is pointless because all you're going to do is, that's when you pretty much have Reverse Flash with a higher body count.
I mean, Barry has threatened to just flat out erase people before when he's mad. So what he does in this book to end the war is really messed up. But I enjoyed it.
Hey, but it was justified.
Oh, yeah. No.
It was justified.
This works out real well. We definitely get the name of what the third West kid is going to be. Unfortunately, it's a name that is very much like Golden Age superheroes. We won't spoil it here for you guys. We're going to let that kid come out and be named properly, but we know who it is. I really do enjoy this new character, Gold Beetle. She's hilarious. I just want to know, at what point did Ted's and descendants and Booster's descendants get together?
That's going to be a story in itself.
I'm sure it is. Did you enjoy this?
Yeah, it was actually, you know what? It was actually a very good finale to the 1 minute war. I figured that's the route they wanted to go because it still kept it within the realm of things. I'm not mad about the ending at all. It just leaves it does leave an open door to something else. I'm trying to say this without spoiling it. But yeah, I mean, overall, it did keep a lot of the core characters intact. It kept the ending very well. Really wasn't any slowdown points. Everything really could be explained, even though it was explained in Speed Force style. But yeah, I loved it. I had no issues with this one. I really did like the 1 minute war.
Yep. Moving on over, we got Scarlet Witch. This is written by Steve Orlando with art by Sarah Bichelli. Inking assistant is Elisabetta D'Amico.
Close enough.
No, I'm fairly certain it's D'Amico. We've heard enough. We've seen Gargoyles enough to know how D'Amico's said. With colors by Matthew Willis. This was an interesting episode for Scarlet Witch because we get the Marvel equivalent of the Amazons.
Really is.
And in the Bache, I guess is how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
And we get to see Wanda go toe-to-toe with Marvel's version of Hippolyta.
You know how mad you gotta be to drop a house on somebody? That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really out there to like think about. It's like Wanda just dropped a house on Diana's mom.
Yeah, and she stayed more King walking off as like, I've been hit with bigger things than that. Oh, really? I was like, let me just. I was like, you should. I was like, wow. I was like, first you drop a house on her. The whole thing with Darcy though, it's like Darcy was like, really? Darcy did that? You know, only to find out at the end, it's like, oh wow, I did not see that coming. But no, between those two and the fact that she sent her literally to a spot where she would have protected barrier is like, yeah, that's gonna hold you. And then the twist at the end, at the end, I'm like,
yeah,
okay, that's setting up for something else. But no, I mean, it was a good read. I was surprised. Yeah. I was really surprised about the level of battle they went with those two. Really.
Oh yeah, like the biggest thing for me is not only is this exploring the Marvel version of the Amazon pantheon or the Amazon group of Marvel, which I don't know if we've dealt with them before.
No.
Or this is a new thing to the book, but like we just straight up get Hippolyta.
Yep.
Like I know she's like in the Greek pantheon a whole bunch, but this is one of those things of you have two very different Hippolytas. Like this Hippolyta is more what's her name in DC? The redheaded Wonder Woman?
Red Sonja?
No, redheaded Wonder Woman, the one who killed Hippolyta.
Oh, shite. I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name of it right now. It'll come to me momentarily, but keep going.
Yeah, she acted kind of like her, were just really war-based and whatnot, and big golden armor, big sword. Like, it just threw me off.
Artemis.
Yeah, Artemis.
There we go.
It's like Artemis running around masquerading as Hippolyta with giant armor.
Yeah.
Like, again, it just like really threw me because I'm so used to seeing the name Hippolyta is so associated with the Wonder Woman franchise. It was a little hard to disconnect, and to see her act the way she does and whatnot just really threw me.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear you say that because you were not really thrilled with this book initially, but I can tell this one gave you like, well, this actually can turn out decently.
Yeah, I mean, this actual issue was the fact that I didn't really expect, really that type of level of fighting with Scarlet Witch. Is more, I mean, you don't expect that with sorceresses, but she's like, you have heard of me, right? That you really want to fight me, and of course you have, her on the other side. It's like, what can you? What's like you witches can't take a punch, and you just literally see Scarlet Witch says like. She kind of squared up a little bit. So that's why I was like, okay, this issue was really good. I have to give you credit for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I did toss a curveball in this one after this one because I forgot Ghost Rider issue 13 was out. But first, we're going to talk about Gambit and Rogue part 2. This is them just having a fun moment in the desert. They realize, oh, we don't have our powers. Then we time jump a little bit to where they're walking and find a small town. I guarantee you they did everything they could do to each other in that desert.
Man.
Because they are a wonderfully happy married couple, but Rogue's powers still are Rogue's powers. But
all I can sit there
Rogue's powers.
All I can sit there and say is once Gambit figured out, oh, all right. I was like, really?
Yeah, the only thing that's watching us right now, Cher, is the Vultures.
Yeah. It's like
writing for this is Stephanie Phillips, art by Carlos Gomez, and colors by David Crowell. So they stumble upon a bar, and for whatever reason, Black Panther's there because he's looking for Manifold. Manifold's dealing with his own thing. I don't know if it's Orochis or not because they've even taken a backseat in the X books as of late because of the whole Sinister stuff.
Yeah.
But this takes place before the Sinister takeover. The other thing I really wanted to take a thing is the text conversation between Destiny and Mystique was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, you and Rogue always do this to me. This always happens because of you. She gets it from you, Irene.
This is wow. Just wow. Although I do love the fact of how in the world that Rogue landed a shot on Black Panther. I was like, you know what? Gambit tried it, not realizing that it's not really a good idea considering that there's a big power difference between you and Black Panther. Rogue, everything she threw into it. But no.
The other thing I like about it is you think because this is a biker bar, that everyone's going to be very redneck about this or very racist towards mutants. The first person comes up to us like, hey, I recognize you because you helped save the world, clearly talking about the accident. Everybody's chill.
Yeah, I mean, just completely. But no, I actually dig it. I actually did dig it, though.
This was fun. I really enjoyed this book. I love Mr. and Mrs. X. This is more of it. It's so much fun. These two are so fun.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just nice to see a nice, healthy couple relationship or nice, healthy married relationship go somewhere.
That whole thing was still funny. It's like, oh, so there's nothing but us, but desert and sand. I'm like, that's where you went with this. I ain't mad at you, Gambit. Not mad at you at all.
No one's mad at Gambit. Further fun books. Joe Fixit #4. This is written by Peter David, art by Udari. We'll go with that. Sinar, and cards by D. Confini. So we didn't cover this last time. Issue 3. Wilson Fisk used mind control powder to get the Hulk. Hulk got better. And now Wilson is trying to assert his dominance over Vegas by bringing in Rhino and Shocker. Peter's still there, and we get a fight between the Hulk, the Kingpin, and the Rhino, which it's Joe Fixit, so that's pretty even playing field with Wilson being the bottom rung in that fight, but Rhino versus Joe Fixit is actually a pretty even fight because Joe doesn't have get stronger abilities. True. He's at a fixed power level, which is why even Ben, the Thing, says this is his favorite version of the Thing.
Because he can actually beat him.
Because he can actually outlast him and knock him out.
Yeah.
But Rhino's mildly comparable, I guess is the best way of putting it. Like, I feel like in the strength term, it goes Rhino from weakest to strongest for this particular thing is Rhino, then tied between Ben and Joe.
Yeah. That's right.
Pete just deals with Shocker the easiest way possible. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Again, I don't know why he just doesn't like invest in a waterproof suit.
You would think so, but no. It was good, especially the whole conversation between Bruce and Hulk. It's like, see what happens when I let you take over? We always wind up hurt. It's like, yep, that conversation will never get old. But it did have an interesting twist for this one. I definitely got no complaints. Like you said, Rhino in this case was a more considerable foe because it is Joe Fixit and not the actual Hulk. And Spider-Man still with the one-liners. Still great. It was a good issue.
This actually ends out pretty soon too. Next issue's the finale. I do want to see more of this just because Joe Fixit's a fun version of Hulk.
Definitely. I agree with that.
Next up is that wild card that I forgot to tell you about because I forgot it even came out. I was getting like crap. I forgot about Ghost Rider.
I'm going to lean on you for this one because I have not yet read this issue.
Yeah, sorry. I like it literally today as I was getting the pictures, like shit. So this is Ghost Rider 13. This starts with the new arc. My Brother's Keeper is what the arc is probably being called because we finally learned what happened to Danny Ketchell this time. He's working as a demon exterminator for something called Infernal Labs, which pretty much corrupts his version of the Spirit of Vengeance because I think now he is the permanent host of Zarathos.
Okay.
And Johnny Blaze just has an alternate version of a demon in it. His own Spirit of Vengeance. Because like the way this book talks, like Danny's like, hey, don't trash talk the my Ghost Rider. He can actively hear you and will do something about it.
Okay.
But it also shows that he is hired by called Infernal Labs, and they test him out by killing a demon, and then they start doing some mild experimentation on him, which Danny just signs up for because Danny wants something to do, wants his life to have meaning. Again, because Johnny's like king, to his knowledge, Johnny's king of hell because he doesn't know what's going on with Johnny.
Right.
Johnny's trying to track him down because they're in Atlanta, I think, and it's just awash with green fire. So, and as we see here, Danny looks like he's part of Weapon X.
I mean, I am getting Weapon X vibes. I was like, yeah, I have to go back and go read that because when I first saw the cover, I'm like, this feels like Weapon X vibes. Just from looking.
Yeah, I don't know what if Infernal Lab is a normal thing for Ghost Rider. I only just started picking up Ghost Rider.
Well, Infernal Labs is kind of a side. Infernal Labs is kind of a side one, but not to this extent. But I guess in this run, I have to go back and go see because really Infernal Labs is kind of like the Sword. It's kind of like Sword in Ghost Rider world. But I have to go back and read what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm not too up with my thing. I'm Car Ghost Rider is where I started picking up Ghost Rider, and then the Percy book. But pretty soon the brothers are going to meet, and it's not going to go well because Danny is allowing himself to be having this done to him. But I guarantee you, if this is Zarathos, Zarathos does not like this being done to him.
Right.
So we'll see from here, but I enjoyed this. This was something they've been alluding to for like 2 or 3 issues with covers constantly like this, and now we're finally getting the story.
And now I have something to read tonight, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then final book tonight, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, because we're just getting more Star Trek books all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
Also, more Deep Space Nine is always encouraged because it is my favorite Star Trek of all time. And now we get to add a lovable space corgi, which, so we thought the corgi was the Borg tech, but it turns out the corgi comes with Borg tech, which everybody in Deep Space Nine is in love with this dog. And Cisco is dealing with the ramifications of Borg tech on DS9 because he is intricately linked to the Borg.
Yeah,
almost as much as Jean-Luc Picard. Like the whole premise of him becoming the commander of Deep Space Nine is because of the Borg showdown from Next Generation. And his trauma of losing his first wife to the Borg and all sorts of stuff. So everybody loves this dog. The dog is hilariously cute. I do love that Ben gets right in Quark's face. Like, I've tolerated a lot of your BS, but so help me God, if you make me look bad in front of this Federation Bureau coming in, I'm teleporting you to the wormhole.
Damn.
And then, Quark's like, all right, fine. Removes the corgi from events. We also get to see Odo trying to hold off as much as he can and then just, becomes a corgi to go and roam with the corgi in the holodeck.
I have to go back and read this.
It was so much fun. I like the fact. I thought this was a one-shot. Apparently, this is a continuing series, which means I get another continuing series.
Yeah,
with Cisco in it, meaning more fun for me.
My mind still goes back to the Q reference. Picard never hit me. I'm not Picard. It's like Q was so shocked about that. But no, I'm going to go back and go read this one because I was trying to find it. I couldn't really get a hold of it, but now that I think it's available now for you to go take a look at. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go back.
I think the other thing, my favorite picture in this is also, I can't remember his name. Gyrick? Is that his name?
Garrick?
Thank you. Yeah. Garrick being with the dog is the best picture ever.
A paranoid.
Because he's just kneeling beside it and giving this super happy grin with a thumbs up. Oh, and Vic Fontaine is in this too.
Of course he is, because it's the holodeck. So we already know it's the holodeck. Vic Fontaine is always going to be somewhere. But no, I'm not definitely go back and read that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said that's all of our books for this week. I really enjoyed Deep Space Nine. I can't believe I get another Deep Space Nine Ben Sisko book. This has just been fun for me. This with all the Ben Sisko love.
Cool. Well, thank you, Joe, for that. Because now I got 2 books to read before I go to bed now, especially the Ghost Rider one. Because now I'm like, oh man, I have to go back and see what's going on with that. But we also do want to show love to Rick's Comic City. They do support us, and we do want to show love support to them. So if you are in the Nashville or Clarksville area, definitely check them out. As you can see from there, they actually have a shop online, rickscomiccity.com, as well as their eBay page. Definitely check them out. They have been voted Nashville's #1 place for comic book stores. They also have a 3rd location coming. Unfortunately, we don't have that information as of yet, as of when they'll be open and active. But once we do, we will definitely share that with you. So if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check them out, whether in Nashville or in Clarksville. Also, if you are not in the most Middle Tennessee area, definitely support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries, as they still are areas to where you can find the most up-to-date mangas, books, comics, and other multimedia for all your reading and viewing needs. So definitely support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries, because trust me, you will miss them when they're gone. But that being said, as we're wrapping up, Joe, anything you want people to know about what you're up to?
Don't forget that we also have MTAC coming up, like literally right now. I mean, I'm not going to go because they are super strict on parking this time around, to the point where even the little lower area where usually everybody parks is no longer free until after 5 o'clock.
Damn.
You got to pay $18 for a shuttle lot now.
There's going to be a lot of folks doing Uber, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The other thing I want to remind everybody is Free Comic Book Day is coming up. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, this is where a lot of these scents and larger events are being previewed. I believe we are getting the first parts of Jonathan Hickman's Gods this thing, and the Hellfire Gala is going to be slowly coming up in comics for that, plus whatever DC is pitching out in their second half of the rollout of Dawn of DC.
Yeah.
As for me, I am re-going through Tales of Arise because PlayStation Network does carry over my saves, but the Bandai Namco says, oh, hey, we don't have cross-save things, so those 40 hours you put in, we got to do it all over again.
So I'll
try to stream that once a week if I can get around to it. It's just, it's hit or miss because of work.
Yeah.
Just recently 100% platinumed all of Marvel's Spider-Man, so now it's time for me to work on Miles Morales. 100% platinum that. Then who knows from there. You can find me, all the normal socials and whatnot. I'll also be at the Nashville Cherry Blossom Festival next weekend, weather depending, because that always has like a
major effect on since it's outside, right?
No, I was going to say 1 in 10 chance of it being a downpour.
Well, it's going to be cold tomorrow, but that's going to be fun. But no, damn, I wish I could go. I can't get out from MTAC. No matter how many ways I slice that bread, I can't get out from MTAC. But thank you.
Just take your brand new son to MTAC.
No, not before he has his shots. Not before he has his first shots. He can't go. We're trying to keep him isolated now. But anyway, thank you, Joe, for that. And of course, you can definitely catch him on his YouTube page, Total Justice Gaming. Of course, his Twitch page at Joe will tell you last name. Also, some other shameless plugs, but we do want to show love to other folks as well. Shout out to my boy Big BZA Dot on all media, as he has his beat channel on YouTube. That has plenty of free music for you to use. He will not do copyright strikes, but if you are interested in purchasing music, he will definitely be the person you need to talk to. So definitely check him out, Big BZA Dot on all social media. As for myself, guys, you can find me BlackBox447 on all socials. I usually do reviews on everything that I read, that I play, that I even eat. Sometimes I do reviews on eating, sometimes. And also, I do also watch things I watch, including wrestling, because it's still real to me. As Mr. Kenny used to say, wrestling is real. People are fake. At the same time, guys, we do actually have a link that's been scrolling at the bottom and make it a little bit bigger for the world to see. If you copy and paste that into your browser, it'll take you to our link tree. That's the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch groups for all of our podcasts, How the Heck We Got Here, Get Bit, and of course, Supplements Podcast. Definitely like, share, and subscribe. Please give us your opinions on everything that we discussed tonight. We want to keep the conversation going. There is no right or wrong answers. It's just all good, clean fun. We are not trying to come down on anybody. I'm talking about you, Black Sands, but that's a whole nother day. But again, definitely let us know what you think. At the same time, guys, as we're wrapping this up, although we are nearing the end of pandemics, please protect yourselves. Still wear a mask in some areas, especially if you are traveling. Please stay home if you're sick. Also, if you're going to be going to places like MTAC, please, soap and water and deodorant. I'm not calling anybody, and a mask. I'm not calling anybody out, but you know who you are. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Aside from that, guys, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, we do have one other thing. Now you can find the podcast on Stitcher and Spotify.
Oh, under any type of specific name, sir?
No, just the Get Bit podcast.
Gotcha. Okay, so definitely check them out as we are trying to expand. We're trying to expand ourselves, our podcast, because I just realized how that sounded. But anyway, we're just trying to put ourselves out there, guys. So again, like, share, and let the world know about it. Aside from that, guys, we are all about uplifting each other, really sharing positivity, really encouraging others, celebrating the wins, because again, you never know when your turn's coming up. So simply put, don't be a dick. Simply just say cool, thank you, appreciate it, congrats, and move forward. Aside from that, guys, we hopefully will be back here next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel, with news that has happened throughout the week, especially if trailers and things as news persist. Also with anime reviews, as you guys have seen that we talked about, the new animes on the horizon have already started. So we'll probably do reviews on that as well. But before we call it night, Joe, anything else you guys say, sir?
No, I'm good this time.
All right. Wow. He usually has something, but insert witty comment here. But I guess he usually had me, but he got me at the early part of the podcast, never at the end. This is different. This is weird. I don't know how to go with this. But anyway, that being said, guys, he's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Get Bit Podcast tonight. Please take care of yourselves and each other. We will all get through this. Have a great night, guys. Peace.
Later.